Hello everybody, welcome to MJ Yaks Movies. Today I'll be yakking the film Sinners from 2025, directed by Ryan Coogler. In this movie, we open in media res with a character by the name of Preacher Boy. He stumbles into his father's church, bloodied and beaten, and then we smash cut to a day before. The day before, he and his father had a disagreement that seems to be ongoing about Preacher Boy, whose real name is Sammy, his life going forward and whether or not he'll be a musician and to what end. Then, Preacher Boy's two cousins, Smoke and Stack, the Smokestack twins, otherwise known by Elias and Elijah, they return to town after having previously worked in Chicago, seemingly as Prohibition-era gangsters. They would like to open a juke joint, and so they go about gathering up Preacher Boy and then meeting a whole host of characters while getting things ready for the opening of the juke joint they purchased off a questionable white gentleman. Along the way, we meet many people, including Mary, the former lover of Stack and a childhood friend. We meet Slim, a drunkard musician. We meet a pair of Asian grocers by the name of Grace and Bo, who have their daughter as well in town and run a local grocery store. We also meet Annie, the former lover of Smoke, with whom he had a child. That child passed away as a child. And then we also meet some other characters as well, like Cornbread, the gentleman that goes on to become their bouncers. And a husband and wife that are turned by a vampire after that vampire is chased by Native Americans to their house. So, after a whole lot of table setting, and I believe I got everyone in there in the cast, in the core cast, day falls and night begins, and the juke joint opens. Its name being Club Juke. Not very original, I would say. There's music, there's dancing, there's singing. And when Preacher Boy performs, there is a musical sequence that I don't know if I'm ever going to forget, at least not for a very, very long time. Then, that trio of white people, the husband and wife that were turned by the vampire, as well as the vampire, show up at the door of the juke joint, asking to be let in. They are declined entrance, and so they go wait at the edge of the field. Mary, the former lover of Stack, goes to investigate, and things don't work out well for her. She returns to the club, having been turned, and then she attacks Stack, killing him. Smoke shoots her to no effect, and she runs away, rejoining the vampires out in the field. So everyone's told to go home, to leave, and that's really just a buffet for the vampires. So, everyone is then turned into a vampire who goes to leave the club, and we learn that apparently one needs to be invited if one's a vampire into the club in order to attack them. One can't just stroll in. It's never really explained as to why that is. And so this keeps the vampires out for a while. The remaining survivors struggle with what to do and discuss how to move forward, or if they should just wait things out until daylight. However, when it's turned out that Bo, the husband of Grace, the Asian grocers, has been turned, she loses it and she fights all the vampires in, and a battle ensues. Everyone more or less perishes except for Smoke and Preacher Boy, who narrowly escape. Preacher Boy ends the life of the main vampire, who it turns out is part of a hive consciousness, a collective consciousness. So in murdering him, Preacher Boy effectively ends the life of the other vampires. And then, just before this happens, though, it's revealed through the hive mind that the questionable white gentleman that Smoke and Stack had bought the club from had never intended to let them keep the building, and in fact, he was a Klansman who was going to come back the ensuing morning and murder the twins. So Smoke waits around for them, he ambushes the Klansmen, murders them all, but not before getting injured himself. Right before he perishes, he murders the questionable gentleman in question, and then he goes on to the afterlife to rejoin his previously departed lover and their child in a better place. We cut back to the original scene that we started with, Preacher Boy stumbling into church. And then we see Preacher Boy driving away, still holding the remnants of his guitar, thus indicating that he's chosen a life of music rather than a life of gospel. We then cut in a mid-credit sequence, and yes, there's a mid-credit sequence, so stick around, people, to Preacher Boy many, many years down the road, I believe in 1992, where he is performing in a blues club, I think in Chicago. After he finishes, Stack and Mary stroll in, and Stack reveals that Smoke was unable to kill him as a vampire to end his vampire life. The only thing that Smoke said was, "You're not allowed to go after Preacher Boy," which Stack honored. Stack asked Preacher Boy if, given that he's nearing the end of his life, if he'd like to turn him into a vampire so that he could play music forever, which Preacher Boy declines. And then Stack asked Preacher Boy if he could play him some music, but on a real guitar, not an electric guitar. And then we cut, and credits roll, and everyone goes off into literally the sunset because the vampires can't stand light. So, this movie stars quite a few people. We've got Michael B. Jordan as both Smoke and Stack. We've got Delroy Lindo as Slim, the drunkard musician. We've also got Jack O'Connell as the main vampire, Haley Steinfeld as Mary, and then a bunch of other actors I was not familiar with, including Miles Caton, who is making his debut in this movie, and boy, oh boy, what a debut. This movie is also scored by Ludwig Göransson, who I think right now might be the GOAT for current composers. His music is fantastic. The music in this film is fantastic, and also very central to the theme of this movie. I would say music, the history of music, music through culture, and then also race are things that are very important in this movie. This movie does a great job of exploring how that even though the two brothers had moved away to seemingly a better life where they'd be higher up on the social hierarchy totem pole in the north in Chicago, when they got there, they realized they were still at the bottom of the social hierarchy, and so ultimately they decided to move back to the Mississippi Delta, where at least they knew they would prefer to deal with the devil they knew, as the expression goes. I think this movie also is really cool in that it's split between day and night. The first half of the movie is the day, the second half of the movie is the night. It looks great. I appreciate that this is not a movie that's all dark or all day. It's a blend of both. The vampire design I think is really cool. The teeth did not get in the way. Oftentimes in these vampire movies, the teeth can look like Spirit of Halloween store purchase teeth. Their eyes also I think were really cool. Insofar as the vampire lore for this movie, the vampire lore was not super in depth, which I'm overall fine with because usually these films go the other direction and they explain too much vampire lore. I was fine that there was a little less vampire lore than I would have liked, although one or two more lines explaining some stuff like why the Native Americans were chasing the main vampire, or what the deal with the inviting into the building thing was. The performances in this movie are really strong. The special effects of the two Michael B. Jordans were really well done. I didn't see any scenes, not that I was trying super hard, but there wasn't anything that stood out as a clear scene between the two brothers. And the special effects team did a great job early on in the movie by doing the chef's kiss special effect of having the two brothers hand one thing off to another while sharing the same scene. So whoever worked on that, kudos to you. I would say overall for me, actually another thing too, this movie is clearly greatly inspired by, if not Tarantino, then Tarantino-esque films, and that this is a very slow burn movie. Maybe the first hour and a half is all set up, and then the last half hour is an explosion. So yeah, I would say for me, this is a big yay. I really enjoyed this. This is a big yay if you enjoy vampire movies, if you enjoy Prohibition era speakeasy movies, if you enjoy the two characters being played by the same person movies. So yeah, for me, between yay and in between, I'm gonna give this one a big yay. Go check this out. You know what though? If you like more of a quiet sit-down jazz club, this one might not be for you. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Cheers.